Well, speaking of free speech,
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of this.
Right.
This young gal who worked for Yelp. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with
I'm very familiar with Yelp. I hate them.
Yes.
But go ahead.
But Yelp, if you're not aware of it, most people are, I would assume, but I could be wrong, is a way for rating your experience at a business.
Correct.
Be it restaurant, entertainment establishment,
Right.
whatever.
Right. Pinball museum.
Hotel.
Right.
This was my experience. This is what I liked. This is what I didn't like. It was horrible. It was great. Whatever it is.
Right.
It's like Angie's List
Right.
for establishments. You know, use these guys. They were fair. They were fairly priced. It was a good experience. Don't use these guys. They're a ripoff. They're scumbags.
Right.
So it gives people a chance to review.
Sure.
Well, this young gal worked for Yelp.
Okay.
This was all over the place, where she more or less complained openly on social media
Oh, boy.
that she was starving because Yelp didn't pay her enough money to work for them.
So, wait a minute. So she wasn't making a complaint about a business. She was complaining about...
She is a Yelp employee.
So she was complaining about her job that she doesn't make enough money.
Correct.
Job that she agreed to a salary of.
Correct.
And she went to Facebook or whatever and complained.
Correct.
And they fired her?
They fired her.
Sounds right to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong?
Well, here's the fallout.
Okay.
Yelp was right to fire entitled millennial who whined about salary online.
Okay.
This is one of those articles that we actually can agree with.
Sure.
Memo to millennials. Corporate America doesn't want to have a dialogue about your concerns. Being an employee is not like being a college student. Your boss isn't there to give you a cuddle and establish a committee to change the ways for you.
Right.
That was kind of like, wasn't that story we did last week, especially the one that made me laugh about the mother who was concerned that her black son was being called nigger
Right.
nonstop.
Right.
Called him the worst name in the book.
Yeah.
Did you listen to that at all?
Listen back to it. The book was funny.
Your employer can and will fire you for making them look bad, and this is as it must be.
Mm-hmm.
A 25-year-old San Francisco Yelp employee named Talia Jane.
White girl?
I'm assuming she could be Hispanic. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Talia, Talia.
All right.
Didn't like the salary she was offered at the groovy tech company Yelp.
Well, there's a difference between offered and accepted. So it's not the salary she was offered. It's the salary that she accepted.
Correct.
Okay.
So did she decline the job offer and take her skill to a higher bidder?
No.
No. She accepted the gig.
Yeah.
Then publicly whined about her salary. In an open letter to her CEO, whom she called out by name, Yelp fired her within 2 hours, which tells you that even companies with cute names protect their interests as ruthlessly as your average ill-tempered Gila monster.
That's ruthless to fire an employee that's fucking shitting on the company?
Yeah, that's just mean, man. You got to be so mean.
What world are we living in?
You're mean. You fired me.
What world is this?
Jane said she was getting $12 an hour, which isn't enough to eat. I haven't bought groceries since I started this job, she said, having having been living on one bag of rice. She spends 80% of her wages on rent, which is $1,245 a month.
Where the fuck is she?
In San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's expensive there.
It is expensive there. Her rent is more than my mortgage.
Guess what, honey? Move to San Jose.
Yeah, no kidding. She apparently has no roommate, which, as you know, I took on a roommate.
Yeah.
When things were a little tight, I took in a roommate.
Sure did.
Also, she has a home internet connection, which no one in the world had until about 20 years ago. Not to mention a car.
Right.
But she's considering getting rid of the former, which she bought with intent to pursue some freelance gigs. Now she claims to be too stressed to do side work.
Too stressed?
She's too stressed. Yep, she's affected.
Ugh.
There's a clue about the difference between the actual suffering and the pretend kind known as reality out of kilter with a sense of entitlement.
Right.
No one who is actually starving would turn down work. Mm-hmm. This is because working beats starving.
Right.
Picture George Orwell's miserable coal miners in the road of the Wigan Pier. Did any of them say, "Sorry, love, can't handle work today, too stressed"?
Right.
Jane's Instagram photos of her snacking habits, prosciutto, also undercut her starvation claims. So she's snacking on social media.
Nice. Guess those food pictures didn't serve her well.
No, not at all. Guidelines for the starving Instagram lists: work more, get a second job, Talia, get a roommate, get several, get rid of your car. This is how everyone your age in New York has been living for generations.
Yeah, move. Don't live in a place with $1,200 a month rent.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Fucking ridiculous.
Throughout the 2,000-word piece, Talia sounds the classic millennial whine. Why isn't the world helping me more?
Ugh. I hate her.
Though the world does more for her than it does for most, she set up a GoFundMe account that brought in over $1,800.
Oh, my God. I'm going to start putting up GoFundMe accounts.
Yeah. Talia's problem have nothing to do with Yelp and everything to do with Talia.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I left college having majored in English literature with a dream to work in media, Talia wrote. Mm-hmm. This goes back to, what was his name? What was that guy that we were goofing on that, what was his, the radio guy who wanted to do radio full time? The walrus.
The wall. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I should be able to do my radio gig full time, and the world should accommodate that because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, man.
I shouldn't have to take on a job that would cut into my radio time.
Yeah, man.
You see where this is going?
Right, of course.
I have a dream, and the reason I can't fulfill this dream is because I have to work.
Yeah, because the world's not giving it to me.
The world is not making accommodations for me to follow my dream.
Right.
So her comment is that she left college having majored in English literature with a dream to work in media. Mm-hmm. Gosh, 3 mistakes in a row there, Talia. You obviously should never left campus if you're determined to be treated forever like a delicate little bunny in a padded cage with someone coming to change the pellets in your feeding bowl. Right. Majoring in English? I've been there. Got turned down for my first credit card by Citibank, which sent me a rejection letter citing my field of study. I reapplied, changing my entry from major to business, which not only wasn't my field, but wasn't even a field of study offered by the school, But it worked, providing a valuable educational experience and an impromptu seminar in the value of bullshit. Next lifetime, Talia, try majoring in petroleum engineering or supply chain management. Yeah. These fields teach you what you need to know as skills, and they demand money. Having a take on Joanne Didion is more. Trying to read this. Having a take on Joanne Didion is more of what you might call a hobby. That equals love equals unpaid. I guess Joanne Didion must be like a literature person or something.
Okay, right.
Author maybe.
Okay.
That's so basically this person is saying that your English major is a hobby, and that equals unpaid.
Yeah, why would you go get an? Does she not see the newspapers and magazines are going out of print?
Yeah,
and right.
Yeah, physical media is over.
Yeah, if you want to be in media now, you better be fucking pretty because it's all going to YouTube.
Exactly.
So.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Jesus Christ, Neely, do you read these stories all the way through before you read them on the air?
No, I don't.
I can tell. For the record, she's a rather famous writer. Her name is Joan Didion.
Didion?
And it's Joan, not Joanne. How do you spell Joan? Joan. You just play some Joanne Jett.
Right.
Jesus God. You used to bash the metal experts for how they pronounce stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. Joanne Didion.
Whatever the hell her name is, never heard of her.
Remember Jeffrey C. Music and Dio?
Yeah.
Fuck you, pal. However you say it.
Right,
you, mang.
Exactly. All right.
Well, dog, I'm shitting on you tonight.
Yeah, well, whatever. I got broad shoulders. I can take it.
No, you're offended and hurt, aren't you?
No, not quite.
Yes, dude, please.
Oh, wait a minute.
You shouldn't be allowed to call
That's only if Phil Robertson said it. Then I'd be offended.
Doghouse should not be allowed to call in and fuck bag on you.
Yeah, I'm not taking your calls anymore, man.
Yeah, we're shutting you down.
Yeah. All right. And a dream to work in media. Talia, everyone wants to work in media. Unfortunately for you, that includes those of us who are already working in media. We aren't giving up our spots. You know why? Working in media is super fun. We do stuff the normal only wish they could do. Plus, we get paid for it. So, in other words, there's no room for new people.
No.
We're going to ride this out as long as it's profitable.
Well, dude, if you ever watch, you watch football, every year they have some guy that's retiring from the fucking television booth or whatever.
Sure.
And they always show the guy, and the guy's been there like 61 years or something. They never show a guy that's been like, this guy has been here for 2 years and he's leaving. But there's constantly guys that are like so goddamn old because people don't leave the media jobs.
That is true. If you talk about, say, terrestrial radio, who are the guys on terrestrial radio? Rush Limbaugh is number one. He's been there for 30 years.
Right, Hannity's up there.
Levin. Yep, Mark Levin.
He's been there forever.
So yeah, these guys on national shows.
Yeah,
they don't give up those spots.
Yeah, and why would you? Even if you're like a newspaper person that's been, even when newspapers slowly dying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with them dying, if you're one of the people that still hasn't been phased out, why would you give up that job? That's a cush job. You sit home, you fucking read something and you write about it, or you go out to a press conference and then you write about it. It's fun.
Sure it is.
And as well as I do, the media thing is definitely a fucking addiction.
Yeah.
Once you get bit by the bug, you just want to do it.
Well, a newcomer will either have to wait their turn, or if that if that media gets phased out,
Yeah.
they'll never get their turn.
Right. Well, but and in this girl, she's what, 25? Is that what you said?
No, she just graduated college, so I'm assuming she's in her very early 20s, probably maybe 22, 23.
Okay, well, you know what? Practice your craft. Do what everybody else does right now. Fucking write a blog. Write a blog. Get your chops down, and then fucking start sending that around.
Well, see, the issue here is she needs income now. She can't wait it out that long.
Whose fault is that?
Well, again, this is what the crux of this article is about, is that the problem with this girl, Talia,
Right.
the problem is Talia.
Right, of course.
It's not the world, and it's not the job, and it's not the marketplace. It's her.
Yeah. You know, the thing that's missing from, I guess, from millennials, or from, I hate using that term too, you know, from the bulk of these kids in today's world, is I don't think that they see that those that have achieved the most are usually the hardest. You know, they don't seem to have that picture that you got to be cutthroat to fucking survive. Do you get that opinion?
Yeah, I do, and I agree. And the thing is here's a testament to how great this country is and has been.
Mm-hmm.
Is that every generation seems like they have way more than the previous generation.
Right.
And, you know, I know your parents and my parents, even my dad. I mean, my dad's up in years. He's going to be 86 next month.
Right.
And as with a lot of generations, they go, well, I want my kid to have it better than I did.
Right.
Well, it's almost gotten to the point to where the expectation is I should have it better than the next guy. And then it gets to the point to where, well, I shouldn't have to do anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
I should have it better than the previous generation, but I shouldn't have to do anything for it. It should just be handed down to me.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, is where a lot of these kids get this idea like, well, I want to be an actress, but they're just not giving me that chance.
Right.
Yeah, but no, you have to work. Sometimes you'll make it, sometimes you won't.
Yeah.
You know, when I got into radio, when I went to radio broadcasting school back in I started in July of 95.
Right.
Clinton's administration passed that legislation that allowed the media companies to own as many media outlets in any market that they wanted to.
And then Clear Channel CBS bought everything.
That's basically it. And it basically destroyed the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So that limited the number of positions in radio, because when Clear Channel came in or CBS came in and bought up all these radio stations in all these markets,
sure,
they just consolidated everything into one.
Yeah, just hired people to come in and do 8 hours of voice tracking that would cover 40 stations.
And that was it.
Yep.
Now, it was my dream to get into commercial radio at that time.
Sure.
But when that all came down, I just made up my mind that this ain't going to happen.
Right.
You know,
That's
even though I spent $10,000 on a radio education, broadcasting education.
Sure.
I didn't go, God damn it, it was my dream to be in radio, and you should make that happen for me.
Right.
Didn't do that. I just accepted the fact that, you know what, this isn't, the market just doesn't support that anymore.
Yeah. Well, dude, I different scenario, but, you know, I'm very fortunate now to have a couple businesses that are successful, but I had a bunch of failed ones too.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch. I mean, you know, I don't talk about it a whole lot, but I had a business myself and my brother called Aiken Admin Services, kind of the precursor to my IT business.
Sure.
And that was a monumental flop. Man, I damn near lost the house, you know, because I was trying to make it work, and it was just a bad idea. You know, it was writing term papers and resumes and doing typing jobs and shit like that. And it seemed like a good idea when I was putting it together, and then, it quickly turned out that there wasn't enough market for it. So it failed. And while my magazine, Music's Bottom Line, didn't fail necessarily, it still didn't generate the kind of money that I wanted to make to make a living doing it.
Sure, absolutely.
So I sold it. And I was fortunate that there was a buyer, because as you remember, I was just going to close it, and then
you were just going to be done with it and be over.
Yeah, and then John stepped up and bought it. So you're not due success. I think it's safe to say, and probably most of the listeners won't remember, but I know you will. I don't think I ever worked harder, even now, than I did on Music's Bottom Line.
Right.
I don't think I ever put more effort into anything than I did that magazine.
Sure, that consumed a lot of your time.
Every minute. I literally was working my day job and then coming home till 2, 3 in the morning, sleep for 2 hours and go back to work. I wanted that thing to make it in the worst fucking way, and it didn't matter. Even though everybody that read it thought it was better than the other magazines that were in town, the Alternative Press and Free Times and whatever, it wasn't generating the revenue to give me what I wanted from it. And, I could have whined. I could have been like, well, how come nobody's giving me more advertising? But, it just was what it was. It didn't play out. So I put that one to bed and moved forward. These kids, they don't seem to see that. They don't seem to see that, what? You're not due shit. You got to go get it.
Right.
And you're going to fail sometimes trying to go get it. That's what fucking youth is about.
Sure.
You fail several. I mean, we all have had jobs that sucked and failed at, or got fired at, or just weren't good at, or whatever. But, you learn from it and you move forward.
I agree.
I would have killed when I was 22, 23 to have fucking $12 an hour. Wouldn't you?
Sure. I mean, I think that my first job out of college, well, my first real job, I mean, when I went into the marketplace right out of college, I was wiping off cars at a car wash.
Sure.
But then I got a mechanic's job, and that paid me $4.25 an hour.
Right.
$4.25.
And admittedly, with interest and or inflation and whatever, it's probably closer to $8 an hour now, but it's still shit money.
Yeah, that was over 30 years ago.
Yeah, dude, my first job out of the military, and the military pays shit. I mean, I made shit money in the military. But then when I got out of the military, my first job that I had was working in warehouses, counting screws in this fucking auditing company. I would go into warehouses for fucking bare minimum wage and fucking count screws. Go, literally open up a case of screws and separate them into 100 fucking count little boxes of screws. This was the worst job in the history of the world, and it didn't pay my bills. So then I had to go and work at Domino's Pizza at night, to supplement. And then, I got different jobs that started slowly making a little tiny bit more money, but I had to keep working Domino's. I worked Domino's for years. For years. Worked 2 jobs. Still do, kind of.
Sure.
But, I mean, nobody handed me anything. Nobody should have handed me anything. If I was out in the street, I would hope that people are like, fuck you, fucking lazy bitch, go get a job.
Or get a second job. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill, it's me, Serena. How are you?
Oh, look at it, Serena. What's up, Serena?
No, just saying that these new kids, the unknown word to them is the word sacrifice.
Yeah.
They don't know what is to sacrifice, Sometimes to make it happen, to reach the lifestyle you want to live, you have to sacrifice for a while. It's what you have to do, I have 2 jobs myself, and, I have a horse. It's expensive, but nobody put a gun on my head and say, are you going to, you have to have a horse. It was my choice. Therefore, I had to, I currently have 2 jobs for years now, and that's what I have to do. So,
Yeah, and you work 2 full-time jobs or 2 8-hour-a-day jobs.
Yes, I do.
So you work 16 hours a day.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's worth it because I don't have anybody. You know, when I want to buy something, I'll go buy it. I don't have no man to buy me things. If I want something, I'll buy it, and that's worth it for me. You know.
Yep. Agree.
I know most women are not like that, but I am, and you know it works for me. I have my Fridays and Saturdays off, and those are my 2 days. I work for Fridays and Saturdays, pretty much, but it's worth it.
Well, since you don't want a man to take care of you, are you available for dating?
Yes, I am. I am available, but I have no problem being by myself. It's just whenever I choose to be with someone, it has to be, you know, quality time, and it has to be worth it. Other than that, I'd rather be alone. I can take care of myself.
So it would be okay to spend time with you, but then go home.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fine with me. Yeah.
I'm moving your way like tomorrow. Jumping in my car tomorrow.
I'm not a relationship girl. You know, I'm quality time girl. That's what I am.
Well, I got some quality to give you time with.
But I'm very choosy, I must say.
I just lost.
I'm choosy with the whole persona. But, you know, yeah, but I'm not like most women. You know, I don't look at the wallet. That's good. You know, most women nowadays, I have guy friends, and the first thing that they are being asked on the first date is how much they make. They want to know the job description.
Yep.
And they go from there, and it's sad, you know. It's just sad, but, you know. And I have a joke for you guys whenever we're on the phone call. It's a little joke that I have.
Is it better than the joke McKay told last week?
I hope so. Okay, there he goes. Which are women's 4 favorite animals?
What are women's 4 favorite animals?
Yes, I don't know if you heard that joke, but I heard a patient of mine told me that, and I thought that it was pretty funny.
Okay, Chris, you got any idea what are women's 4 favorite animals?
Well, one must be a tube snake.
No.
No. An aardvark because it has a wild tongue.
No. Could be, but no. It's a different one in this case. There are 4 different ones.
I give up.
It isn't a woodpecker, is it?
No. Okay, I'll go and say it, okay?
Go ahead.
Women's 4 favorite animals. A jaguar in the garage, a minx in the closet, a tiger in bed, and an ass who pays the bills.
Jesus.
That's a real woman joke.
Yeah. You know, it's all about, actually, out of the 3 of them, only the tiger in bed is related to sex and something fun. The rest is all about the money, the car, the fur in the closet, and the ass who pays the bills. You know, they expect somebody to pay them the stuff, you know, all the stuff they want to buy. Most of them, you know, not all women, you know, but most of them.
Well, as long as the fur stays in the closet and not in the panties.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to a patient of mine told me that, somebody with sense of humor told me that, and, you know, since women are most of them are gold diggers, I thought that I would, you know, since this lady actually that you were talking about, Talia, or this young lady, actually she was posting, I guess, pictures of prosciutto, which is like a very expensive meat. That costs about like $17 to $25 the pound. So that's like a delicacy. Actually, it's being we use it in Europe, but you eat very little because it's so expensive. But if you live beyond your means, you know, I mean, come on, that's a little too expensive, you know. So she's very unrealistic. She needs to get a second job,
Yeah.
somewhere cheaper, and and sacrifice and suffer for a little bit.
Yeah, switch from
You have
that
to
kind
suffer.
of meat to some generic bologna, right?
Yeah, bologna or Spam.
Spam.
You have to, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. Well, I guess I'll say hail and kill, and I'll call soon again.
All right, sweetheart.
Okay, hail and kill.
Hail and
Bye.
kill, Serena. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Spam.
Yeah, but not even the real Spam. You got to, because that's expensive. You got to go with that fake Spam.
Spam.
You know? They do have fake Spam.
Do
If
they?
you can believe that.
Yeah.
They have Spam, but then next to it is like some fucking off-brand that's like not really Spam.
Yeah, it's like the scraps of what they made Spam out of.
Yeah, it's something else. I don't know what it's actually called.
Scrapple.
Just gross.
Yeah.
Spam itself is gross.
Yeah, I know.
Man, to eat an off-brand of Spam, wow, that's living in the gutter there.
Yeah.
And that's what Talia should be eating.
Yeah.
She hasn't earned anything more than that.
Sure. Just finish this up. Sure, Talia, you and your generation can replace us. You already are replacing us. There's a kid standing next to my desk right now. He's 23. He's very nice. He went to Bowdoin, Bowdoin, Bowdoin.
Doing? Okay.
Never heard of it. His name is Tyler. He's pretending to check Yik Yak, but in reality, he's just waiting for 25 years of General Tso's chicken to realize their destiny and seal up my arteries like the boulder rolling in front of the exit in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. My seat will be warm when he takes it. So that kid's got a ways to wait, huh?
Yeah.
Or so he hopes. Say my arteries continue to flow like the mighty Niagara and I don't vacate my seat. Since you and Tyler don't know anything, the main thing you have to offer employers is a low price. Tyler's okay. He's got a trust fund. Do you? If not, don't become an actor. Don't become a poet. Don't become a conceptual performance artist. Don't work in the media. You can't afford to follow your dreams if everyone's idea of a dream involves being okay with being paid in coolness instead of dollars.
Yeah. How about why did she not research her own industry that she wanted to go into first?
Because it was her dream. She should be allowed to pursue her dream, and she should be able to make it on her dream.
Well, she can. She better figure it out. I mean, there's other people making it with that same dream.
Right.
She's going to have to fucking work harder.
Right. Life doesn't work like a Jane Austen novel, Talia. You don't choose love and then get magically rewarded with money. Anyway, because you're such a nice person, if you want cash, go knock on Procter & Gamble's door and learn about the wonderful world of selling toothpaste. If you want a job you love, don't complain when it turns out it doesn't pay enough to fund your groovy San Francisco dreams. Hey, only kill caller, you're on the air.
Somehow I don't think she should try to be a blogger or a writer or anything, because that's any of those creative fields, it's built on you do all the work and then maybe you get paid for it if you're lucky.
True.
But if it's her dream, then she should take the steps in 2016 to achieve it.
Well, yeah, sure, but she sounds like she wants a guaranteed paycheck, and that's not what that is.
No, I agree with you there. It's definitely not. But she's not owed anything. You do agree with that. She's not owed anything.
Yeah, she wants a guaranteed paycheck. Okay, that's fine. Then being a writer or any kind of freelancer or anything, that doesn't suit her temperament, because it's one of those deals where you put in all the time and you do all the work, and somewhere down the road it may pay off and it may not.
Well, Chris
Then you got a fucking portfolio full of stuff that is worthless, basically.
Well, Chris is a prime example of that. Prior to you being familiar with Chris, and he just talked about it a few minutes ago, he had a he had a physical magazine that came out once a month, and you expanded it to twice a month for a short time before you sold it, right, Chris?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was how many pages? Is it 20
pages?
How many?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 or 24 pages. This was an actual print magazine, and Chris probably wrote 70% of what was in there.
Yeah, believe me, I was a writing machine.
Sure.
And it just didn't pan out. How many years did you do that?
5.
5.
5, and didn't make any money.
I mean, as somebody that does some, creative fiction myself, and then just send stories around and such. I mean, I get it. I mean, I do it for fun. I'm not trying to make money at it, but if it does, that's cool. But it's first and foremost, it's fun for me. It's more of a hobby, I guess.
And it's got to be if it's not a work.
If I could make it into a living, that'd be awesome. But
sure.
How many does that happen for?
I agree. I mean, look how long I've been doing this, Doghouse. I've been doing this for 20 years. Never intended on making a dime doing it. I just do it because it's fun.
Did you hear about some writers? They talk about how they do it. The late great Elmore Leonard said he started writing every day around 9 a.m. and he finished at around 5 or 6 at night. And if he was lucky to get 4 pages out of it.
Wow.
Some people say write 500 words a day, even if you don't have anything to write about. Just write something. Whatever.
I do that.
Well, yeah, and Facebook and Twitter don't count.
Yeah, but you should see some of the shit I write on Facebook. It's pretty long.
I heard somebody alerted to me that my name came up in some Facebook stuff a couple weeks ago.
It did. You actually got a lot of accolades and you got a lot of hate at the same time. I think it was about 50-50.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, well, I'm glad to get at least 50.
It was a simple Facebook question. It was, is Doghouse brilliant? That was all I wrote.
Where in the fuck did that come from? Were you missing me, Chris?
No, I write these things like a month in advance, and it was just something that popped into my head the day I was writing them. And for me personally, I'm always curious because, the chat room, of course, always says how bad you suck dick, but fucking, I am a believer, and I don't just say it. I am a believer that the discourse is good. I am a believer that the best thing we can have on the show is somebody not agreeing with me or Neely all the time, and I wanted to see what the fans thought. And they thought exactly what I thought. Some are just like, how dare he fucking challenge the great ones? And then a lot of people are like, good, Chris is a fucking blowhard asshole. It's good that somebody's challenging him. I was like, hey, cool. Perfect.
Okay.
I think you should delete that post, Chris. You should delete it.
You probably offended some people. You probably outraged some people.
I'm sure I did. Shocked them. Outraged.
But yeah, I saw some of those comments, but, since I don't actually use Facebook, because I probably would wind up in exactly the same position as this woman did in this article, I'd probably piss somebody off or cause myself to get fired or not hired. Since I don't have a Facebook, I didn't read it all. So, whatever.
It was interesting reading.
What I saw of it was, yeah, but I wish they'd mentioned my name more. No. Neely, I'm kind of surprised you'd never heard of Bowdoin College.
No, what is it?
It's just a college. It's just pronounced Bowdoin.
Well, where is it? Where is this place?
I believe it is in California, but I'm not entirely sure.
That's the first I've ever seen that.
I lived in California. I never heard of Bowdoin College.
It's prestigious in some circles. It's not Ivy League or anything, but it's not, college. I think some political leaders and political strategists have come out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a no-name school like the one I went to.
Well, I wasn't familiar with it.
They didn't have a pronunciation class at your Columbia School of Broadcasting.
Right, exactly. You're right about that.
They should have.
What was the name? What was that Evergrey song you wanted to hear?
Still Walk Alone.
Okay.
It's from the Torn album.
All right. Well, you might hear it, then again, you might not, because now my feelings are all hurt.
Now I pissed you off, yeah.
Yeah, I'm offended.
Chris might play, you want it just to make me mad.
Exactly.
Like he does when you're not on the show. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's not a secret.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You know you want it.
Yeah, you got it, girl.
Right. All right.
Hating Bret Michaels is something we can all agree on.
I agree, and I will be seeing him in 3 weeks.
Why?
Lucky you.
Well, he's just part of the package.
He's part of a package, all right.
Yeah.
With who?
It's the whole 80s cavalcade, It's like
Let me guess. Don.
Well, it's Dokken, Warrant, Lita Ford, I don't know who else is part of that. LA Guns.
No, they're not.
Oh, it's not LA Guns.
I can replace LA Guns.
That's right. Warrant. It's just, Firehouse. It's just a bunch of those 80 bands.
M3 Festival is coming up in April, outside of Washington. When they started, I actually went to the second one with, I don't know, I really liked Y&T when they were there, but most of the bands were kind of disappointing, and anymore, I see the lineup, but it's just the same old shit. I'm just not interested at all.
Well, I'm not going for the show. I'm just going for the hang.
You're going to hang out with Don. You're going to get Bret Michaels' autograph.
Yeah. No, I
By the way,
won't even be able to get near Bret because he doesn't allow people to even look in his direction.
That's right.
Well, he's Led Zeppelin, right? By the way, Operation Mindcrime played 20 miles from my house tonight, and I didn't go.
Oh no! You could have been Jeff on Jeff.
I could have put on my smoking jacket and my yachting cap and went up to him and said greetings and salutations.
Right.
And see what he did.
And he would go, Susan, get him out of here.
Susan.
It's
Who
him.
is this man?
Get him out of here.
Is he bothering you, Jeffrey? Mom, that guy looked at me funny.
It's like looking in a mirror, Jeff. It's like looking in a mirror.
I got more hair. But who doesn't?
Right.
All right, then. Fuck you, pal.
All right. That wraps up.
Are you ready for this? 1, 2, 3. You know you want it. You know you want it. You know you get it, so you got it, so you flaunt it. Back up on it.
That's all I can take of that.
Horrible.
So bad.
It's terrible.
Is that the worst song ever?
Yeah, it's right up there.
With like the Lynch Biscuit and Get Naked, Methods of Mayhem.
Yeah.
It's in the all timer of awful. Oh boy. Or I'm the fire starter, Gene Simmons.
Or to be number one.
Yeah, or to be number one. Now that might be the record. What do you think? Scorpions worse than Bret Michaels? I think so.
Boy, that's awful. Eye to eye.
Don't ever leave me unsatisfied.
That's really bad.
That's so hard to believe that's the Scorpions that did that. After that show I saw at the end of September.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such an amazing, visual and audio assault.
Right.
To think that the Scorpions did that.
I know. What were they thinking?
I know.
And didn't Rudy Shanker even tell you that they fucking hate that?
No, that was actually Klaus. Klaus,
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Matthias.
Yeah.
And we talked to Klaus, and both of them were just like, that was the producer who decided,
Yeah, whatever.
Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
The chat room is full of internet snipers.
Full of internet what?
Internet snipers.
Internet snipers?
Snipers?
Well, it's all the guys in the chat room. I just want to say there's a lot of people in the chat room that pick on people like Doghouse and myself for calling in, but do they call in? No. Hail and Kill.
Okay. I'm just going to make a general statement, and this is not only for Tim, but it certainly applies to Tim. By the fifth call, you're no longer interesting to the show.
Right.
3 is about the limit.
Yeah, I agree.
After 3, you're just annoying.
Right. All right, I'm going to play a couple of tunes. We're going to come out of a Iron Maiden tune.
Okay.
And Nathan from Kentucky or Norge want to give us their review on the Iron Maiden show that they saw in Florida.
All right.
So I said that they could give a road report.
All right. Why didn't you make that for 3:15?
I'll give them 5 minutes to give us a road report on the Iron Maiden show.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
And for Doghouse, I'm going to play some Evergrey.
What?
Yep.
I thought you were offended.
No, I'm going to show that I'm all about diversity and, allowing people to have an opposing thought. And, you can take, shots at me personally, and I'm just going to let it roll off my back like a duck in water.
Oh, yeah. That Phil Robertson's calling.
That's right.
There you go.
I got the light of Jesus coming out through every port in my squash. So I'm going to shed that light on everybody who's listening.
Sweet.
Yep. All right. Well, here's Evergrey. Going to play a couple tunes, and then Nathan or Norse, get ready to call in after the Maiden tune, and you can tell us all about the Maiden show.
All right.
All right. So here's Evergrey with Still Walk Alone exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
Hey guys, this is Henrik from Evergrey from Sweden. You're checking out Classic Metal Show.